Me and my girlfriend randomly got two systems. One was the heat fusion system, one was the ice seal system. She laughed and picked ice seal, so I got stuck with the other one. Then a week later, global ice age apocalypse. Everyone was trapped inside, and food and warmth became the biggest problems. With my heat fusion system, I melted the ice trapping our building and thawed out all the frozen food. Later, city officials found me and used my power to generate heat and electricity for the whole city. My girlfriend did absolutely nothing, while I became everyone's hero. Then after the ice age ended, she hit me with her ice seal ability out of nowhere. This time it's my turn to be on top. One more rebirth. She rushed to grab the heat fusion system first. I knew right then she'd been reborn too. I just smiled. Sure, ice seal can't thaw food, but nothing in the cold can touch me. I used ice seal to lay low early, and this time around, she's the one who ended up as a test subject. I chose the heat fusion system. Her panicked voice hit my ears. Hearing that, I knew she'd been reborn too, right back to 1 week before the ice apocalypse. Heat fusion system sounds like random junk. Ice seal is obviously the better pick. Remember when that movie Ice Snow King was blowing up? The good stuff should obviously go to my boyfriend. I laughed on the inside. Since you love being everyone's hero so much and want to shine in the apocalypse, go ahead. That life is all yours. I stared at her smug face and barely held back a smirk. Then I'll take the ice seal system. Once a choice is locked in, it can't be changed. After she bound her system, she yanked a rock-hard frozen steak out of the freezer, thawed it on the spot, and it was cooked instantly. Ha! This power is finally mine. Let's see you all try to ignore me now. I pretended not to hear, turned away coldly. This was the girl I had given everything for. In my past life, the ice apocalypse blindsided the entire world. Supplies ran dry fast, but I still had a solid stash of instant noodles and drinks at home. I used heat fusion to unfreeze everything I had stored up. But she turned right around and posted my ability, thawing food, generating heat, in the neighborhood group chat. I'd warned her, don't get too full of yourself. This is the end of the world. People can't be trusted. The apocalypse is here. Power is everything. We're about to be on top. Why are you scared? You're a grown man. But she forgot. Above power is the country, and the well-being of everyone. Eventually, word of my abilities reached the higher-ups, and I became a beacon of hope for every ordinary person in the city. So she lured me outside under the guise of a marriage proposal, pulled me away from the military's protection, then went completely psycho and hit me with ice seal. I fired back with heat fusion. I'm obviously stronger than you. Why should I be beneath you? All of this was supposed to be mine. In the end, the energy spun out of control, and we both got wiped out in the explosion. So after being reborn, she wasted no time grabbing the heat fusion system. I just smiled. In an ice apocalypse, heat fusion is basically a golden ticket. Every faction wants it for themselves. How could she think having power means she'd never have to pay a price? She headed out all excited. The second that door closed, I grabbed my phone and started making moves. The place I was living in was my rental. She had moved in using the excuse of job hunting and saving up for our wedding. This time around I was out. I'd find a new place. Still a week until the apocalypse. Plenty of time. I pulled up my phone and found a spot. Not downtown, but not too far from the city either. Once I locked it in, I drove out to meet the landlord and the agent. Sir, you sure about this? Fair warning, there's a cemetery right next door. The complex is basically empty. Once you sign, no refunds. Big unit, 190 square meters, right next to a cemetery, so the rent was dirt cheap. I didn't even hesitate, paid a full year up front. The landlord and agent were thrilled and handed me the keys on the spot. Today's your day off, how are you getting back this late? I took a deep breath and rubbed my head like I was drained. My manager called me in for overtime out of nowhere again. She could see I was acting totally normal, no clue about the apocalypse, so she just smiled. Hard work pays off, your manager's doing you a favor. I scoffed and watched her hum a little tune as she turned and walked into the kitchen. In my past life, I wasn't just blind, I was completely clueless. She had that smug grin plastered on her face, and I knew exactly what she was hoping for. She wanted the apocalypse to hit so everyone would come crawling to her, and she could do whatever she wanted. I always thought she was this chill, low-key person. I had no idea her jealousy and ego ran this deep. The next day, I took a month off work, then drove to the supermarket and wiped out every self-heating hot pot, self-heating rice, canned food, sausage, and bottled water I could find. Plus feminine hygiene products, toilet paper, comforters, and thermal blankets, all the essential stuff. Then all kinds of dry goods and produce. I hauled load after load to the new place, ordered tons of self-heating meals online too. And to keep myself from going crazy and snacking, I threw in a few thousand bags of spicy strips. I hit the nearby seafood market and bought every fish and shrimp they had. To make sure I'd always have eggs, I grabbed a whole batch of chickens and ducks. Then I rolled up to a few of the best local spots and pre-ordered hundreds of full-course meals. I also started ordering solid fuel blocks, home generators, water filters, everything. Mornings I went on a full-on shopping spree, and every night I used my ice seal ability to freeze all the perishables and restaurant meals before they could go bad. Food frozen with ice seal doesn't spoil and won't thaw on its own. In my past life, she had no idea the ability even worked that way. She just kept eating the food I thawed, the food I traded my power for, and bragged about it to everyone. I was coming home late every single night. She went to bed early and made zero preparations. She knew the ice apocalypse was coming and felt zero urgency, zero fear. She knew that with her ability, she could shoot straight to the top and have everyone wrapped around her finger. She was literally counting down the days. itching for the apocalypse to kick off her new life. When I opened my eyes again, she was standing by my bed with this look of total concern. I haven't seen you in days. You've been working so hard, I'm genuinely worried about you. I almost gagged.